The Story of Andabhūta. The Buddha recounted this tale at Jetavana to address the attachment of a young monk to a girl. When the monk appeared before him, the Buddha gently admonished, "You cannot keep women with you forever. All things are impermanent, and this impermanence extends to a woman's love for you." He then narrated the following story. Long ago, during the reign of King Brahmadatta in Varanasi, the Bodhisattva was born as the son of the queen. Upon reaching adulthood, he succeeded his father as the king. In the royal court, there lived a ritual consultant who often played cards with the king, though he never once managed to win. This was because the king possessed miraculous powers that ensured his victory. Before each game, the king would remark, "All things are impermanent. Rivers may flood or run dry, trees grow and wither, and generations come and go. Likewise, a woman's love for a man is never constant. Given the opportunity, she will turn her affection elsewhere." Determined to prove the king wrong and break his miraculous power, the ritual consultant devised a cunning plan. He adopted a newborn girl and raised her as a morally pure woman. The girl was cared for exclusively by female attendants, and the consultant was the only man she ever encountered. As she grew into a young woman, her isolation from other men led her to fall in love with the consultant, whom she eventually married. Confident in his wife's moral fidelity, the consultant returned to play cards with the king. As usual, the king recited his miraculous mantra. However, this time, the consultant countered with, "Your Majesty, my youngest wife is an exception." To his astonishment, the king lost the game. This pattern repeated, and the consultant's consistent victories made the king suspicious. The king deduced that the consultant's claim of having a truly moral wife might be the key to his newfound success. To test the consultant's wife, the king enlisted a handsome and charming man skilled in seducing women. Disguised as a flower seller, the man was tasked with winning over the consultant's wife. First, the flower seller gained the trust of her elderly servant by gifting her flowers daily without charge. He also sent warm greetings to the consultant's wife through the servant, gradually piquing her curiosity about him. The old servant became a willing messenger between the two, profiting greatly from both parties. After a month of this covert courtship, the flower seller feigned illness and pleaded with the servant to arrange a meeting with the consultant's wife. He declared, "I am deeply in love with the consultant's wife, as you have described her beauty and virtue. Please, allow me to see her just once." Offering a large sum of money, he persuaded the servant, who eventually convinced the consultant's wife to meet him. The wife, already captivated by the flower seller's daily gifts and messages, eagerly agreed. When the flower seller was secretly brought to her chambers, the two embraced passionately and spent several days together. Afterward, the flower seller returned to the palace and recounted the entire affair to the king. Pleased with the outcome, the king rewarded him generously. The king then summoned the ritual consultant for another game of cards. As always, the king recited his mantra, and the consultant replied, "Your Majesty, my youngest wife is exceptional." This time, however, the consultant lost. The king revealed the truth: "You raised this girl to be a moral wife, yet she succumbed to temptation. She has been in love with another man and kept him as her husband in her chambers for several days. As I said, women tend to stray when given the opportunity. This proves my point." Heartbroken and humiliated, the ritual consultant returned home and discovered the truth of his wife's infidelity. Enraged, he expelled her from his house. She went to live with the flower seller, but their relationship soon deteriorated, and they parted ways. After recounting this tale, the Buddha expounded the Four Noble Truths. The young monk, upon hearing the discourse, attained the first stage of enlightenment and overcame his attachment and desire. The Buddha concluded by revealing that the king of Varanasi in the story was a past incarnation of himself.